Sorry about that, everyone. I was just making certain that I had everything set up, ready to go, and had the stream going. It looks like I'm still a bit pixelated, so I apologize for that. I'm working on it. Anyhow, today we're going to be working on a diorama that is going to include this dragon and its base, which has some books and stuff on it. It shouldn't have come off of its base, but it did. It happens. Hey Morgana, welcome to the stream. Thanks for joining me today. We are going to get started with cutting some styrofoam, which it will be off camera somewhat, so I apologize. But it's because I'm going to have to, turn on some ventilation and things for it. So give me a moment. You're going to hear a blower hood, and then I will be back with the cut materials. So give me just one moment, guys. What we're going to do, let me flip this around so you guys can see downwards at the project. That should have switched the camera view. There it goes. Thank you. As you can see, I've got some good lighting down onto the mat, so we can actually get a good view of what I'm doing. I've already got one small piece cut, but what we want to do is this is going to be our base, and as you can see, it's very large, so I apologize there. But what we need to do is get the basic drawn out measurement for this, and then we will use our foam cutter to cut that shape out. Because, well, I gotta cut this off, actually. There's one section there. But I need that small section anyway to complete the second wall. So let's go ahead and just get our line started. We can just move this down to move it along so that it matches back up, like so. And this way we know where we need to cut. Now, I will be right back with this cut. Okay, I do want to stress that please make certain when you do these kind of things, especially with cutting foam, you use a respirator. Absolutely important to have a respirator when you do this. But now we have our wall cut. As you can see, I'm going to have to move this camera angle, I think, so you guys can get a bit of a better angle on it than I'm giving you here. So let's get this angled up. All right. Give me one moment. I got to go grab my pupper. Come on. You're coming in here with me. Come on. Gonna walk around the room. There you go, handsome. Lay down. Lay down. Right there. Stay. Stay. Sorry, y'all, I just gotta get him his water bowl and stuff so that he's got water. I don't know anything. Oh, no. Come here, Tristan. Sorry about that. I just had to get my pupper into the kitchen and get him going. He is ready to go, so we've got that. And now that you guys can see the project a bit better, whoa, I'll just knock the walls down, you know, just. So we've got our foam safe super glue and everything. I've also got an activator, so we can just use that instead of a hot glue gun today, which is nice. So let's just go ahead and get this one wall spread out and placed. Alright. Even with it. There we go. Now that'll just have to finish out drying a little bit. So let's go ahead and use this activator that I have. Oh. And we can put some drips along the outside edge. We just don't want to accidentally get the activator into the tip, or we will end up with an unfortunate problem. Now this is supposed to be foam safe, but it looks like it is melting my foam. So there's something for you. This is supposed to be foam safe super glue. It doesn't look like it is. Because yeah, it's literally just melting my foam. Which I'm not too happy with. Fortunately, we can use that as just damage. Got a little bit of damage here, but this wall is too long anyways, so I've got to cut that down to about there. So, let's grab our pen and mark that on where we need to do it. And I will again be right back. Lay your butt. Lay it. Good boy. Alright. So, lay around. Lay. Lay down. Okay, so we have our one wall piece here cut. We'll set it like this. And again, fortunately, the Mod Podge and stuff will help to compensate for the holes in the foam. Oh, did it to me. Oh no. Son of a biscuit. Give me my needle. Dork. Alright. So we'll certainly have this close by. And just hit it with the activator. Keep it from melting too much. And we need to check this one, which I believe is already long enough. It is. So we're going to have to take this project onto its side, which puts it out of camera angle what I'm doing. So let me change that a moment so you can see where I'm applying additional glue. So we're going to want this spot here also to be glued into place. Activator so it doesn't melt. There we go. So that's nicely into place. We're going to take this one and do the same thing. Hold still, please. Thank you. We just want to make certain we get this as close to flat as possible. Now this super glue activator is something new to me anyways. And I really like it because it is helping my projects to move along quite a bit faster than normal. So it's always good to have something that aids your project. So we've got the walls on. This wall, it doesn't matter if it's a little bit taller than this one, as there's going to be broken pieces of walling anyways. Like that'll be a perfect spot for where it's broken. Let's turn this on this side. And I will aim the project down just a bit so you can see what I'm doing there. Yeah, there we go. Alright, so we're just going to put this one piece right there. So super glue. Activator. Let's get our pin into our super glue so that it doesn't end up plugged on us. Now we have the basic room fitting for what we're doing. From here, we're going to want to make a spot for where the dragon and its base are going to sit, because we're going to mix some terrain paste that's thick enough for coming up to around the edge of the base where he sits. And then we're going to go down with it. We're going to make a thinner terrain paste for the surrounding areas. We'll make a slightly thicker one for here. So we need the base. Set the dragon aside, because I want him to kind of be center stage, and then I've got 4 dragonlings that are going to be sitting out here along this outer edge. So we want him here, and so we can glue this down. Let's grab our super glue again, because we're going to want this in place. All right, get our needle cap into the super glue to keep it open, and that is now set. We can start by setting this aside so we can mix up our terrain paste. Terrain paste cup, not cup of noodles. We want to take some plaster, just a little bit. We're not going to need this to be overly thick. We're going to take a little bit of this buff titanium powdered pigment, because it'll give the wall colors a nice little color. And it'll mix in nicely with the Mod Podge and terrain paste stuff. We then want to take some Mod Podge and some water. There, but oh, do you need more water too? We're just going to take some water because we need this relatively thin. Grab our terrain paste brush. And I don't have a definitive recipe for this. I know that a lot of creators don't, because we need it to be different depending on what we're making, and so that's just more important, I believe. This is a little thin, so let's add a little more terrain paste and Mod Podge. In other words, plaster of Paris. A little more Mod Podge. I'm going to have to make another order of this soon. It is still really thin. I do not like how thin it is, anyone, or everyone, or whoever the heck's even watching. It's actually right where I like it for this kind of a project, so let's set that to the side so we can bring it back in. Clean up our station a little bit so we don't accidentally glue this to the mat, or the mat to the counter, apparently. There we go. Alright, let's get this onto our hobby mat. And we just want to get some lining because it's got all these broken bricks here. So we just kind of want to use the ball end of a tool to make some loose bricking. And this is the part of the project that actually takes some time, because you have to get the exact depth that you want without just punching holes into the styrofoam. And so this part will always take a little bit of time, especially if you want to make broken places where you've got to push a good portion down. Make some broken chunk pieces that show the floor beneath and things like that. And so this always takes just a little bit more time than the rest of the project, because this is where your fine detailing will come into play and everything you want to show through, everything you want to have for texturing, things of that nature. You want to make certain that you get it done before you go lay down the terrain paste. Terrain paste will make it a little bit more difficult to get this part done. Whereas if you just use like a thin terrain paste after doing it, you can usually get some decent impressions that just sit like this. Now I'm actually going to do this after I apply the terrain paste. With as thin as it is, I'll still be able to. But I just wanted to show you guys how the texturing of the floor is going to look. But for now, let's get our terrain paste painted. And there, you can kind of see there where once it dries, the texture is going to come through. We just want to spread this around, and this is both to protect the foam from things as well as to get everything, you know, sealed in, give it a nice kind of texture to begin with. Because you really want to make certain that while you're doing this, you get a good coverage. You can see there are some spots here where it's not going to want to seal very well, but I just go back over it a few times and it usually seals it right up. So always a good time. Again, I will check chat here in a few minutes because we'll have some dry time, and then I will chat with you guys there. Get that into these cracks and divots. Keep mixing it so it stays the actual terrain paste. And we're going to want this over both walls as well. We're also going to give this an initial coating. Just to give it a protective layer. We will want to make certain that we use a tool and some paper towel. Jeez, can't even think. To clean out the hole joint areas where the dragon's going to connect. Because we don't want it, you know, going into that situation where it can't get into its own holing. And so we're just going to clean those out. Alright, now we can continue on with what we're doing. We really just want to get this spread out, get it filling any gaps that we might have, covering over areas that otherwise want to seem to be not having the paint stick too much. It's not actually paint though, this is terrain paste, so it will stick after layers of a few. Get it spread out nicely like this. Along the edge there. Spread out like this. Then we'll go up the walls. And this will definitely be good. It will help to protect the foam from the painting process and the primering process and all of that. And I will use a hobby knife to cut the two windows that will be here and here out. We're just going to get this base layer of stuff on today, because it's going to take a while to dry because of it. So that's another thing, is always take in mind drying time, because there's going to be some time for that. And we also want to make certain we cover the top. We don't have to worry so much about the back of the diorama, because that's actually going to have circuitry and stuff in it, because we're going to have the windows with a soft yellow lighting, which we will install on Wednesday's stream, because I have that coming in. So we're just waiting for some flexible filament LEDs. Again, big shout out to Boyle Eye Hobby Time for sharing info on how to get a hold of those. Those will help up a lot of our projects. And then while we're waiting for this to dry, after I answer chat and stuff and talk to you guys on chat real quick, what we're going to do is we are going to, I'm going to show off the completed projects that I've done so far. Just the stuff that I've done hobby-wise. You know, there will be, of course, the projects that you guys saw us build on live stream as well. So there's also that. And as you can see, the terrain paste is really good at filling in any and all gaps. My mixture is a bit thin, again, because we're going to need it to be that way. And so filling in that one gap here on the wall isn't going to happen. And so we will leave this one wall windowless, I believe, because I can use that as crack damage on the wall instead. Yeah, that's looking great. And it's starting to look really good. Get some more of this onto this. Clear out his toe holes. Clear off where his tail sits. Just get the rest of the terrain paste onto these books. And we're going to also hand make some books to go into the diorama to be laying around the bookshelves that we're working on. Because we're also going to add some bookshelves. There's going to be a window. There's going to be some planters. We're going to have some baby dragons, of course. Because what good is a storytelling dragon without baby dragons to tell stories to? At least in my opinion. We just want to get this down into everything. Get it coated nicely. Yeah, just like that. Look at how that looks. And I'm sorry if y'all are having a hard time hearing me. I do apologize. I've got my camera set up so that my microphone should be closer to my voice at most times. And so if it's not, again, I apologize if you're having a hard time hearing me. But yeah, we just want to get this nice and filled in. We're also going to do the edges all the way down. Yeah, we just want to get this on there so we can get the primer onto it once it dries. And so we'll probably do the primer and stuff tomorrow. This is starting to pick up now. And this is where texturing on it will shine through when you're doing your build. You can see it's already pretty much drying up pretty well. So let's go ahead and get this one edge here. And we'll get the other edge on that side. My brush is starting to stiffen. That's not good. Let me go get some water into this brush. You can't do this project with a brush that turns into a brick. There we go. Alright, now let's continue on. A little bit left on that edge to get. So let's do that. Now we'll work on this edge. Yeah. That's going to look great once it is done. Now, I really like that color that titanium makes this. It actually looks really nice. So we'll probably do some dry brushing of that over everything later on. As part of our just terrain stuff. There, okay. Bit of a pile up over here, which is fine. You can just spread those pile ups out a bit. There we go, look at that. Alright, so now we can let that dry. Let me rinse this out. There, but Now I've got that washed. I've got this sitting here drying, so let me come over and see what y'all are saying in chat. Yes, they are. Yes, they absolutely are. That is correct. Baby dragons are freaking adorable. And yeah, unfortunately, sometimes a foam safe super glue says it's foam safe, and then you see it start doing the melty thing. Luckily for me, I've got the activator, which pretty much gets it solid before it can do too much of that damage. But I'm definitely going to be getting some Super Gold Plus, which is absolutely foam safe super glue. Anyhow, I will be right back over there in just a moment, guys. Okay, so this is drying, so we're going to go ahead and set it aside. Now I'll show you guys a simple way to make books for your projects, if you want to do books and stuff in your projects. So I've got here some measured out pieces, and I've also got a piece of cardstock. This stuff is great for making the outer parts of the book, the binding of the books. So we'll set that aside. We are going to need our hobby knife. Please be careful when using sharp objects. I cannot implore you enough. Please be careful. But we're just going to make some cute little books to go onto the floor of our diorama. I will be making a few more of these off camera, by the way. So, just for those of you who see that kind of thing happen every once in a while on the channel. When you make a book, you just need, this is some styrene foam. This is polystyrene foam. It's only about, a couple millimeters thick, maybe a millimeter thick. But if you take 2 of those, put them like this, they become thick enough to be a book. So you want to take these and your foam safe super glue, again, and you just want to get a little drip on there. Preferably without getting it everywhere and sticking it to your project bench, which I have done a few times, so that's a thing. Hit it with some activator so it seals quickly. We will get some thinner books made as well. So these books are only going to take 1 page set. They will be thinner that way. I accidentally cut that one weird. Oops. That's alright. You can hide that behind the binding, nobody will notice. So, we've got our books set. Now we need to get our cardboard cut. And so, for the larger books, we'll take, if you've got the 2 pages, you just take those, set them side by side like that. Because you're going to need enough to wrap all the way around. Then you just, with your hobby knife, cut the shape you need. Just like so. Now you have a book binding. And what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to make certain that when it wraps around, it wraps all the way around. Or as close as you can get it. You can always trim it later on. You want to squish down the end so that it looks like a book inside of a, book cover. Just like this. Take some foam safe super glue. You just want to, like so. And that should actually bind both sides together. Also, be careful when using activator. If you get super glue on your hand, the activator heats it up and it will leave a burn. So, just get that one. Ow. Dang it. That hurt. Okay. Anyways, we've got one book fully bound. Don't stick to me. It's going to try and stick to me for a moment, so I'm going to set that down. So we're going to get the binding for this one made, and what we're going to do with this one is we're just going to fold it over, giving it a hard notch there and there, because that's going to be the outer binding of the book. It's going to be a little torn, which I think is going to give this specific book a little bit of some character. And just take your hobby knife, and again, just quick cut through, like so. If it didn't go all the way through for that cut, that's totally fine, because you always just follow up with the cut through the other piece, like that. Now, we take this, we've got it cut and ready to go. We're actually going to cut it a little bit larger so that torn page is closer to the top of it, closer to the edge of the pages. In fact, I think I got a good enough cut to make it look pretty decent. We can take this binding piece and just fold it up underneath, like so. And it just sticks together like that. So we get our super glue. Just want to get a drip that runs down here, like so. Activator to hold it closed. Get a drip down on this side here. So that we can get that side. Give it a quick spray. And we have a couple little books. And this is just a simple way to make books for your dioramas. If you've got dioramas that are going to use those, I'm going to set these aside because they're going to have to dry. And I think that that would be a good spot to start showing off some of the other dioramas that I've got done. Because a lot of the books I'm going to want to take care of off screen because they're just going to take a long time. Before we do anything further though, let's clean up our mess. Alright, so we've got our diorama zone cleaned up a bit. Just a little bit of stuff on the table, but I've got a paint scraper that I can just take most of that off with. Clean up our mat. Looks nice and clean. These hobby mats are great. They're self-healing, so if you cut into them, they're just going to heal right back up. Unfortunately, they are not silicone topped, so super glue is permanent. But it is a hobby mat. What do you expect? Alright, so let me go grab some of those, and I'll be right back. So you guys all remember this one. This is the one that we all did on stream. This is our defunct derelict building that's falling down because of the eroding hillside. And I personally think this one came out great, despite the building looking disheveled, because it was supposed to anyways. So I really think this came out really nice. We got that really nice gray texture for the stone around it. And it just really came out well. This is one I did off camera. You guys never saw me actually build it. This is a tribute to my father, who used to own a burgundy station wagon, looked just like this, and my grandpa lived on a country road. And so this is just a country road diorama with a burgundy, this is actually a Range Rover. He had a Subaru Grand Luxury wagon. This is Range Rover. So it just came out really, really well. You can see the fine detailing of the stones and things. And I just really, really wanted to do this just as a tribute to my father who passed. Let me see. What are some other fun ones that I've done? So this is one that I did that is a tribute to the Colorado Rocky Mountain Forest Service. You can see I used some resin to make a little bit of a pond there with a fish inside. And this is titled Ranger Janet from Potato Lake reporting in all is well. And that is the title of this. The one with the car is titled A Country Drive. And this is titled A Precarious Position. I also have a fairy mine that lights up that I did while I was just kind of messing around. And it should, there we go. As you can see, it lights up. Move that closer because this is a very small diorama. It is small. So to see it and its detail, there you go. You can see the little miners in there working. They are digging up some silver. Yeah, it is. The figures themselves, as you can see, are smaller than my fingertip. So they're very tiny. This is on 1/160 scale. So very small, but these are our fairy miners. This is fairy mine number 4. It mines silver. This is foreman Johannes and sub-foreman Liam. We've got a pair of workers also. And these guys today are digging up some silver and titanium ores to help supply the lines for the Goblin Kingdom. Hey, sure, welcome to the stream. Glad to see you here. Thank you for being here. This is one of my favorites. This is actually one of my favorite dioramas to have built, as it is normally a scale I don't work in. So it was really, really fun to, have that. Thank you, of course, for the likes. Please remember, if you are new to the channel, to throw a subscribe my way. It helps me out. It's totally free for you guys, and it helps the channel grow so I can bring you more of these fun dioramas. I'll be right back with the last diorama I've got complete so far. So this is a diorama of Solar Wolf, the Orc Queen, and her first meeting with Bobbert. It also lights up like the others. And so let me change the angle of these so you can see it light up better. But as you can see, it lights up very, very nicely, gives a nice soft glow. And what I did was I used a flickering tea light to make this. So when you get up close, you can see there's Solar Wolf next to her campfire, and Bobbert there in the back. Bobbert is a spiderling. And the story behind this is one night while Solar Wolf was trying to, camp for the night and whatnot and get things done, She unfortunately had a small spider disturb her meal, and it turns out he was starving, and so she fed him, and they became bestest buddies. And so that's the story behind this one. And the last thing I was going to show you guys know that I did the video for doing, was putting this together. This is our SR-71 Blackbird with light up cockpit. Just take it up like that, click the light on, back onto its base, fully lit up cockpit. And I put out the video for this one, I believe it was yesterday. Bonjour. Anyhow, this is all that we've gotten done so far. It is absolutely wonderful, and I love just doing this for you guys. We have that fun diorama we're going to finish. We're also waiting on some flexible and solid LED filaments so that we can complete our halo diorama, where we're going to be adding some laser fire from the Covenant side, as well as some bullet fire coming from the Spartan side. So please stay tuned for that, guys. I have a lot of fun doing this with you guys, and you guys are so fun and absolutely amazing. I just want you to know that, like, you guys are absolutely wonderful. I love having you here, and I think we will end it here today, right here, just because we've got to wait for that to dry anyways. And then we will get to getting the windows cut out for it and all of that. So we will see you on Wednesday for the next amazing video. And I love you guys so much. You guys are absolutely amazing. Bye, guys.